In this video, I will be attempting to survive 100 days in hardcore Minecraft. In my 10 years of playing this game, I haven't come across a challenge quite like this one. Today, I'll be imposing some challenges on myself to make things a bit more interesting. In these 100 days, I'd like to slay the Ender Dragon, I also want to build myself a castle, and finally, I want to make some friends. If you guys enjoy the video, I would really appreciate you taking the time to drop a like, click that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on the next video. Now go get your snacks, the show's about to start. This is 100 Days in Hardcore Minecraft. Oh boy! Day 1, starting off strong. My eyes are bright, can't lose. But before we can chop down our first tree, this dandelion caught my eye. Now, moving on, we can finally beat this tree up and take his lunch money. The day is ours. I decided to be a frugal boy and punch leaves to get sticks for my tools, but that didn't work out so well. I went ahead and made my very first tool, the wooden pickaxe. Now we can grab our very first pieces of stone, advancing swiftly into the Paleolithic era. I finished chopping down that tree when suddenly it caught my eye. This would be my home. Like the good little Teletubby I am, I decided to loot the sunken ship to get a leg up over the dangers of this world. Now that that's out of the way, let's go check out that island. Ooh, there's big danger afoot. Fortunately for me, however, this ocean is bountiful when it comes to its sunken ships and nether portal ruins, so I had a lot to explore and raid. Like a real-life pirate. Sadly, the ruined nether portal didn't have any loot, so I moved on to a shipwreck I noticed further away. And wouldn't you know it, we got some zesty treasures. This buried treasure map will surely be our ticket to early advancement in this world, right? Well, maybe. After finding more iron and lapis below, it was time to explore. But first... I found a roofed forest with some sheep, so what better time than now to get some wool for a bed? The sun fell to the horizon behind me as I rapidly paddled towards my island. Day 1 is almost over. In true Minecraft fashion, I burrowed into this hillside and set up camp. Shortly after, I was able to craft my first pieces of armor. Let's dig into day 2, shall we? The annoying neighbor kid Braden was in my house, so I smacked him upside the head and told him to go home. Stupid Braden. I continued digging to find just how challenging it would be to mine in an ocean biome. Like many others I'd soon find, this cave was completely soggy. I got sick of that real quick, so I decided to return to the surface and spend day 2 collecting some basic resources like wood and dirt. Afterwards, I came back to improve my mining operation with some stairs. Now it's time to return to the open seas and unearth this buried treasure. Where is it? The sand broke my shovel and eventually my heart. I could not find the treasure for the life of me. So, like any rational Minecrafter would do, I came back home to do some mining. But I mined too close to the ocean monument and I got fatigued. Seriously, what are the chances of that? On days 4 through 6, I did some exploring in the opposite direction. I found this neat little cave which didn't lead anywhere, but it was right next to yet another shipwreck. I decided, hey, what the heck? Stealing a dead pirate's treasure hasn't bothered my conscience yet. So I dug around and sure enough, there it was. The first diamond of this world. And also potatoes. I found some cows to slay for their precious skin, which would come in handy when making bookshelves. Seeing no worthwhile endeavors on the horizon, I decided to stop for the night and prepare a splendid pink bed to nap in. I decided to start day 7 off easy with some farming, followed by some light terraforming to plant some trees on top of the island. I even replanted some birch boys so they didn't feel left out. I quickly realized that the small farm I had started simply wouldn't cut it, so on day 8 I took action. I had this cool idea for a floating farm raft, so I went into the ocean in front of the island where I'd built some modular square farming patches that would perfectly suit my needs. The 8x8 size was perfect because that meant I didn't need any water around the middle to hydrate the soil. Completely forgetting about that, I surrounded it with oak logs, so it was kind of pointless. I'll fix that later, I promise. Finally, I had broken my way into a cave that wasn't completely underwater, but it was dangerous. I made a secure bunker for myself and decided I should try to get ender pearls as early as possible to make it that much easier to find the stronghold later on. Not far from the cave, I started mining, and wouldn't you know it, diamonds for this big boy. Everything's coming up EC. The neighbor kid came over to see if I wanted to play, but I had to tell him, "Not today, Brayden. I've got an enchantment table to make." So I crafted up some bookshelves and ran back downstairs to collect up some obsidian. It's now time to craft our enchantment table. I got some space cleared out and I placed down my bookshelves to find I could only get some more garbage enchantments. Enchanter? I barely knew her. After getting myself a bit better established in the world, I decided it was time to venture out to faraway lands. As I ported at this plains biome, I violently smacked my boat and some sunflowers. I grabbed a dark oak tree and went on my way. As I was traveling along, I found a savanna, but not just any savanna, a pointy one. I harvested the local trees here as well and moved along. And, at long last, signs of life. The locals were a kindly group, so I quickly accepted their hospitality. Naturally, to return the favor, I stole all their stuff. In an effort to get me to stop stealing all of their earthly possessions, they offered 2 of their finest citizens to join me on my expedition. Graciously, I accepted their offer. Before heading home, I found another buried treasure map and decided to try my luck. Before long, I uncovered the bounty. Look at this brooch. After returning home with my new pals, I decided to return their hospitality with a few goodies of my own. I then went on to fix my newly expanded raft farm, planted some vines from a nearby swamp, and began a task my people know best: clear-cut logging. While it may not be very environmentally conscious of me, removing the trees was a necessary evil for my progression in this world. Let the castle construction commence. Spoiler alert, I ran out of materials before I could build the castle. Back to mining for me. Thankfully, I found some more diamonds. Days 31 through 35 were spent doing almost nothing but farming. It was horrible, but to make up for it, here's some banjo music. Pour some diamonds on me. I gambled with Unbreaking 3 and it was kind of a dud, but hey, what can you do, right? Day 37, it was finally time to go into the Nether. I got my portal ready, and with one flick of the wrist, the portal was lit. Of course I spawned in the most dangerous biome. I checked the surroundings. There isn't anything good around us. After a quick ocular pat-down, I cleared this piglin and decided to give him some gold as a token of my trust. All I wanted from him was some fire resistance, but I had no such luck. Time to explore the Nether in search of a fortress. Hoglins are spooky! I didn't feel safe at my portal, so I built this simple structure to keep myself safe while traveling between dimensions. Eventually, I came to a clearing in hopes of finding a fortress, but was pleasantly surprised with this hauntingly beautiful view. I made a quick pit stop at home to get a better bow because I knew what troubles lie ahead. We are now entering a soul sand valley, a place where I feel pretty comfortable. Ghasts are familiar, skeletons are no trouble with a oh my goodness, what is going on? In my strength and grandeur, I took care of those bad guys with ease. So I decided to carry on in search of another fortress, with no such luck. I finally got my hands on a fire resistance potion, and after a few minutes of doing the Lord's work, I decided to move onward. I discovered a ruined portal in the middle of a lava ocean, next to a bastion. So, like any other genius would, I decided to build a bridge out to get the loot. This, dear friends, is your daily reminder to never trust gravel. The loot was absolute trash. I'm very sad that I came over here, but things were about to turn around. This world has officially been blessed by the phase bone. I'm invincible! After putting this ghast in its place, I returned to the Crimson Forest to seek out another fortress in a new direction. I made yet another precarious bridge, which led me to a clearing and entrance to a warped forest. Bordering the forest was another fortress, so I swiftly made my way in it. I found this hip new club in the corner of the fortress called the Blaze Room and decided to set up shop. These guys were not happy customers. I collected my blaze rods and got the honk out of there, finding netherwort and, what? That seemed like a trap, so I fought my way back out of the fortress. I came across this spooky boy, and he was kind enough to donate his noggin for science. Leave me a comment if you're excited for the wither fight in 200 days. I got what I came for by day 43, so I decided it was time to head home. I relaxed with some farming, adding soul sand for the netherwort farm. I also decided to open a microbrewery on day 44. I spent some time organizing and crafting up the rest of the bookshelves with the leather those nice piggy boys gave me. Since I'd spent so much time farming and grinding, I decided it was time to make it all worthwhile. I needed to improve my infrastructure, and what better way than to build a villager breeder? After bringing the villagers up to the castle's foundation, I locked in a mending trade. I stayed up all night waiting for some ghouls of my past to pay me a visit. Sure enough, they decided to drop by. So I stripped them for parts and turned them into the juice that makes me fall in slow motion. Day 53. Now that I'd started my microbrewery, I scoured the globe in search of the finest ingredients. Up next on my grocery list, the melon. After exploring a great distance, rather than coming across a jungle as I'd hoped, I'd found this abandoned village. I quickly napped in a dead guy's house and came to realize that they had all been survived by their melon crop. Thanks, guys! Not far from the village, deeper in the savannah, I stumbled upon this large mushroom. Security was pretty low budget, so there was no problem there. When I got inside, though, I came to understand why they were pinching their pennies. They had none to spare. Though the pillager loot was garbage, I didn't leave empty-handed. On day 56, I returned home safely and planted some melon seeds to expand my botanical collection and increase profits in my villager trading ventures. I finally got to flex my financial muscles and make some trades with my villagers on day 57. And on day 58, it was back to the mines for little old me. I was in desperate need of XP, especially while preparing for the dragon fight. When I resurfaced on day 59, I was ready to get down to business. I lucked out with an incredible bow enchantment and decided it was time to craft up some diamond armor. I returned to the nether on day 60 in hopes of collecting more ender pearls. I was a bit strapped for gold, so I trekked deep into the warped forest to go enderman hunting. After a few scares and a couple of short days, I was rich with pearls. Hopping into day 63 a bit too comfortably, I might say, I got into my habitual routine of farming, then went to upgrade my diamond chestplate and fortune pickaxe. I retrieved another villager, and when I went back out for more farming, I saw my life flash before my eyes. A zombie horde like I had never seen spawned before me. I was absolutely dumbfounded. I didn't know how to handle it until they all kind of just fell into the water and drowned, so it's all good. Day 65, I brewed some night vision potions for no apparent reason, then set out to find a friend. I came across the sweetest little donkey you ever seen. We were destined to be pals. Unfortunately, his big booty was too buku for the boat, and I had to leave him behind. Both of us lonelier than the days before. I came back to the foundation of my castle to organize my items and finally collect materials to complete the construction. While doing so, the Phasebone blessed me with many diamonds. Day 69. Nice. On day 70, I spent a little time enchanting the rest of my gear and collecting some lumber. Since I wanted to have something worth fighting for, I spent day 71 preparing to finish castle construction before the dragon fight. Let's go! Now that the castle was finished, I was determined. I set out to do everything I could to prepare for the most dangerous endeavor of these 100 days. It's funny how quickly these days flew by until now. The nerves were really starting to kick in. It's very possible that I could lose everything I had worked for up to this point. The first couple eyes of Ender guided me toward my final destination. These harbingers of the final frontier stared blankly into my soul, as if they understood the gravity of this excursion. As if they understood it might be my final voyage. The time passed too quickly as I arrived at my destination. I dug straight down to find a cave system attached to the treacherous stronghold. Rushing brazenly forward, I felt like I was invincible, which is a very stupid way to feel when you're playing hardcore Minecraft, because anything can change. A few silverfish gave me grief, but they led me right to the end portal frame. This was it. All of my struggles, all these trials and tribulations, had all been leading up to this one moment. The fight of my life lied mere moments ahead. Let's do some damage. Though my pumpkin mask was stylish, it was incredibly difficult to see what I was doing. I eventually made it to the island and had the fight of a lifetime. Or something like that. The mask was really interfering with my vision, so I missed most of my shots. Finally, though, I got into the swing of things and began firing shot after shot, knocking out crystal after crystal. It was exhilarating and terrifying. The dragon finally landed on its perch, and I knew this was my opportunity to do some real damage. Due to the odd hitbox of the dragon, I couldn't land a hit. Moments later, I was shown why it was such a good idea to make slow-falling potions. I had finally had enough, so I took off the pumpkin mask. That's when the danger really came about. Take this as a reminder, kids. You should never take off your mask in 2020. This is what happens. Shot after shot, I was whittling the dragon's health down, and, at long last, we had freed the end. On day 79, it was time to head to the outer islands in search of an end city. We need elytra and shulker boxes. As the world loaded in, I noticed a flying ship within viewing distance. So, like the space pirate I had newly become, I made my way to the city in an effort to pilfer its resources. The bouncers at this club were far better equipped than the guy back at the savannah. Eventually, I outmaneuvered their backup in anti-gravity guns and made my way into the city. So on day 80, I had a fun night in the city with the gals, but it was finally time to get what I came for. I grabbed some loot from the city and quickly bridged my way out to the ship. The ship's staunch guardian gave me grief, but I took care of him with ease. After gaining entry, I claimed my prize. The elytra were mine. Don't worry, I grabbed the dragon head too. Gracefully, I took flight. There was no need for me to stick around and take more risks, so I decided to return to the main island, collect the dragon's egg, and get home. The days passed even faster now, so I decided to take things slow after the big fight with some enchanting and some redecorating. I crafted up some rockets, and by day 82 I was free to roam the skies and admire my handiwork. Since I was sick and tired of mining into waterlogged caves left and right, I decided to move my mining expedition to the mainland. I picked a random spot, dug straight down big brain style, where I started a branch mine, and I couldn't believe my luck when I broke through the wall. Even though this skeleton spawner wasn't the most valuable thing I could find, I felt like the luckiest little Teletubby there ever was. While these two hugged it out, I looted the dungeon and prepared it for farming. I returned home on day 85 to my beautiful fortress. To display my grandeur and prominence in this world of mine, I built a shrine outside of my fortress displaying the bounty of the dragon fight, the elusive dragon egg. Beyond that point, I spent most of the remaining 100 days underground preparing for the future. I began constructing a grand villager trading hall where I could procure all of the resources I could ever need. On the 99th day, I realized I had nobody to share my prosperity with. My donkey friend couldn't join me yet, so I set out to the high seas in search of a new friend. Two dolphins eagerly tagged along as I returned home, where I secured them and finally bestowed the honor of naming them after the finest couple I could think of. Day 100 finally arrived. I can't believe I did it. I survived 100 days in hardcore Minecraft. There are still plenty of challenges for me to overcome in this world. We are not done here yet, my friends. I want you to head down to the comment section below and leave suggestions for what I should do with the next 100 days. This has been an incredible journey, and the things I've learned through the process of making this video are truly invaluable. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. If we reach 50 likes, I'll go ahead with the next 100 days. I really can't wait to hear what you guys think of the video, so please leave me a comment. Let's chat. Thanks again for watching, guys, and with that, I'll see you soon.